SCP-001, also known as the Gate Guardian, is a Euclid/Keter class humanoid entity that is one of many potential entities that shared the SCP-001 title. It can be viewed as the overall protagonist of the SCP series, depending on its interpretation. SCP-001 is the being that prompted the SCP Foundation to exist. He said one word that echoed through the administrator's head: prepare. It was that one word that made the administrator create the Foundation for an unknown future event, and to contain many other dangerous or helpful entities and anomalies. It has never left its station. This SCP is based on the story of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, being the first two humans in existence, were born in a land that has a tree created by God himself, and were told not to eat the tree's fruits. It is possible that that tree is among those behind the gate featured in this SCP. In short, SCP-001 guards the gates of Eden. The Gate Guardian is an impossible-to-contain, colossal entity that stands over 1,000 feet in height, with anywhere from 2 to 108, but usually 4, luminous wing-like appendages sprouting from its shoulders, back, temples, ankles, and wrists. The Guardian wields a weapon described as either a sword or knife, also known as SCP-001-2. The weapon can emit flames that rival the heat of the sun but, strangely, causes no damage to the environment around it. As its name suggests, the Gate Guardian stands, weapon drawn and head bowed, in front of an equally colossal gate through which a pastoral grove can be seen along with multiple other entities that share SCP-001's description. This grove is thought to be the biblical Garden of Eden. The grove contains many fruit trees of unknown species, with 2 trees of immense size near the grove's center. One of them, thought to be the Tree of Knowledge, appears to be an ordinary apple tree, while the other, thought to be the Tree of Life, bears a fruit unknown on Earth. SCP-001 can and will annihilate any and all beings, organic or artificial, that pass within a 1-kilometer radius of itself and ignore its warnings. This is down to the subatomic level. The speed at which these attacks happen make it look like SCP-001 barely even moves. Ranged attacks on SCP-001 end with the instant annihilation of all projectiles, including nukes, and attackers no matter where in the world they are. In the case where a D-Class was executed for refusing to ignore SCP-001's warning to leave, all people responsible for the death of the D-Class were immediately annihilated along with their research site. If real, the Gate Guardian is one of, if not the most powerful being that the Foundation has ever seen. Personality.
Not much is known about SCP-001's personality, as it rarely interacts with people, and the Foundation rarely interacts with it out of safety. What is known, however, is that SCP-001 isn't openly hostile, preferring to send a telepathic message such as forget or leave to all living beings who pass within a 1-kilometer radius of itself. When the message is followed, the being will be free to leave, all while forgetting about SCP-001's existence. It appears to at least care about humanity as a whole, but not as individuals or as groups, as while it inspired the creator of the Foundation to start containing and fighting creatures and entities that would gladly wipe out all life on Earth at best and erase the universe at worst, it has no qualms about destroying any one person or group of people who ignore its warnings or, on the very rare occasion, anger it, not seeming to care about collateral damage. A certain experiment which included SCP-001 and a nuclear submarine led to the detonation of multiple warheads at once. This then led to the deaths of around 35,000 people, most of whom were innocent civilians. This event very nearly exposed the Foundation to the world, resulting in the mandatory termination of all family, friends and individuals related, in any way, to the 35,000 victims to prevent questioning and the deployment of amnestics, memory-erasing drugs, on a near-global scale. After this, any and all experiments including SCP-001 and nuclear material were permanently banned on order of the O5 Council. During a later experiment which included SCP-001 and SCP-073, also known as Cain, a particular incident occurred which ended with SCP-073, despite his own abilities, being left unconscious and the permanent blinding of multiple members of personnel. After this incident, no further experiments of any kind which include SCP-001 are permitted on the order of the O5 Council. At some point, the Foundation received a message dated from an unknown amount of years into the future. The message describes an apocalyptic event during which, for the first time, SCP-001 leaves its position at the gate, signaling the end of Earth as we know it. The Foundation once tried to use him to kill 682. The Guardian failed, and 682 stated that the Guardian isn't Uriel, but a pretender, and that the place he was protecting was not the Garden of Eden, instead the garden being SCP-2746, which is far west. In the tale, the gate opens. SCP-343 deems the right time for his angelic armies to lay waste on Earth so it would reborn as a paradise. He goes to SCP-001 who kneels to him and refers to him as his father and lord, and on 343's orders 001 finally opens the gate where armies of similar abstract angelical beings emerge. When SCP-001 confronted SCP-729-J, a powerful bunny plushie, he kneeled and a mouth manifested on 01's head calling it his lord, and then put it on the garden he was guarding. The Foundation was able to retrieve 729-J after 001 was allowed to have SCP-999 for a day. The Gate Guardian is included as a dangerous anomaly card in the SCP board game called Uncontained.